Business Central 23, new and newish features. I want to talk about a feature that is not new. It has actually been around for quite some time, but I believe it is somewhat underutilized, and that is to make use of templates for creating master data. So if you are a business that has a need to frequently create new master data, in other words, customers, suppliers, items, you may find that it can be quite a time-consuming activity, and it could also be something that is prone to error. So we know that if an employee is not paying attention and they don't fill in the correct posting group, something like that, they forget to fill in key information, it can cause quite a lot of issues down the line. So if you want to, first of all, streamline and speed up the process of creating a new master record, or you want to be able to simply reduce errors, then item templates are the way to go. So let's look at what this entails. I am going to start by searching for item templates. Select it, and let's look at this one that I have already created. Starting at the top, we would give it a code and a description, optionally a number series. So what that is going to do is when I choose to create a new item using this as my template, it will assign the next number in this number series. So that allows me to very easily create different number series for different types of items. So let's say we want to have a different numbering system for finished goods as opposed to raw materials. We can do that with a number series. We then create two separate templates for them, and we assign that to the template. The rest of this page will look a little like an item master record. Does not have all the fields on, but key things that we may want to have as defaults are here. So for example, the type of item, is it inventory, service item, non-inventory? What is its base unit of measure? We can assign an item category code and optionally set something like apply text. Inventory, shelf number, cost and posting information. Most importantly, this information here, the posting groups, some information about prices and sales, our replenishment parameters. Let me just collapse these so we can see a little more of the remaining areas. So our replenishment and planning parameters, for example, this will be done according to order. And our item tracking code, so if we need to use serial numbering or package numbering or lot numbering on our items, we can make use of that. And then, of course, some of our warehouse parameters. And we can have as many of these, of course, as we wish. The other thing which I think is really, really important and useful is to be able to predefine what dimension values we need for the item. So this is one area that people will frequently forget to complete when they create a new item or a new master record. So let's say department, and we can give it a value, and it's got to be mandatory. Perhaps we want to have the area and we want that to be mandatory, and then we're now done. So how do we use this in practice? Let's go to our items list, click on new, select the templates, and there we have our number F0002. And we can fill in the information that is not part of our template, but you will note that it has picked up the base unit of measure. It has picked up the item category code. It has assigned all of our posting groups. So basically anything that is on our template will have been defined. Let's check the dimensions. Item dimensions, and it has set up our dimension codes. So that's a nice, quick, easy way to make sure that at least the critical information has been set up. Now, if I have already created an item and I want this to become a default item, so I want this to become the model for a template, I can very easily do that as well. So I can go to actions and I can go to functions and I can say save as template. So what this is going to do is anything that I have now created on this item is going to become a new template, a new code and new values. Another useful way of creating new items without all the donkey work is to make use of the copy function. And the way this works, let's say, for example, I want to create a new item for spokes. Everything will be the same. Perhaps it's a new model. Perhaps my supplier has retired the old one. I need a new code. So I can go into this item and then I can go and click on copy item. Now there are two ways of doing this. I could, for example, give it a new item code. So let's call this, we will use the same 120N. And I then have a number of options of what do I want to copy, and I simply tick all the particular components of the item that I want to copy, and I say okay, and it'll tell me there it has been successfully copied. Let me go and have a look at it. There is my new item. It should be an exact replica of the original one, and what I will now do is I will go and change what I need to change to make it distinct from my first item. Third option, we can use one item to create many items in bulk. This would necessitate us having a default number series set up for the item. And the way this works is, again, we will say copy item. Instead of specifying a specific item, I'm going to go here and I'm going to select my default item number series, the one that is ticked here as default. Say OK. I'm going to create 5 of them. As before, I will set the specific elements that I want to copy, and I say OK, and it will now have created my new items, and there they are. So these are 5 new items, all created as a copy from Spokes. So I really do think that's quite useful. Let's see where else we can use templates. Master data templates are also really useful for creating new customers. So let's go to customer templates. Let's create a new one. And let's say we are going to call this retail. So I want to be able to create lots of new customers called retail. I'm going to use default number series, so I don't have to be allocating numbers. I want them to be allocated to my home country. Those I don't need. Language, document sending profile, definitely. General business posting group, definitely. That. Domestic. Posting group, domestic. Currency code, important. So if I want to be able to have a group of customers that I buy and sell in dollars or whatever, that we can do. Customer price group. Not going to use that one. Discount group, yes, definitely. And invoice discount code, I think that's enough. Let's collapse these. Go on to the next one. Payments, very important. And let's say the payment code, COD, payment method, bank transfer. We're not using those. And we do want to print statements. And we may want to set a default location code or a default shipping method. And then, of course, we do want to have dimensions. So we will want to insist that an area is selected, and perhaps salesperson code. And that is our template defined. Let's see if it works. New customer, and we want our retail customer. And we have a number, John Smith, and all of the key information such as his posting groups, etc., has already been created. His payment terms, his posting groups, his shipping method, and so on are all defined. So this could be quite useful if you want to streamline your customer creation process. Traditionally, many companies do not like salespeople to go into the system and create data because they are not always the most attentive when it comes to detail and following process and procedure. So you may have them creating this on a piece of paper and submitting it to somebody else to capture. Well, why not allow them to do this? Set up a template, teach them how to use the template, and they can't make mistakes. And then, of course, you could make use of the approval process to have somebody else simply come in and vet and make sure that the correct things are set up before you allow your salesperson to start trading with the customer. I think that's useful. I would really, really encourage you to get to know this functionality and make use of it in a way that makes sense for you. Cheers for now.